Hello, let's conquer it family. Today, in this short video, we'll try to learn the trick to remember RDA 2020 for iodine. In case of iodine, it is measured in terms of micrograms. Be very clear in the unit in which all the RDA nutrients are measured because a lot of RDA nutrients are measured in milligrams. A few others are measured in grams, say for example carbohydrates. Whereas in case of iodine and vitamin B12, if we see, they are measured in micrograms. Whereas vitamin D is measured in international units. So be very clear of the unit before you try to remember the numbers of the RDAs. Now, in case of iodine, if we see, we are going to remember only two values. From these two values, we'll try to get the recommendation for all age groups and for different physiological conditions. In case of iodine, before going into the trick, we'll learn one thing, which is iodine during pregnancy is a very important nutrient because in case if there is iodine deficiency during pregnancy time, there is a possibility that the unborn child will develop cretinism. This cretinism is a kind of irreversible mental and physical retardation in growth. So, why did I tell this point? That is because you will have to remember that iodine is a nutrient which is important for both mother and the baby. That is, it is important for two people. So, using that, we'll remember the value here. That is, the iodine requirement for pregnant women is 220 micrograms since it is important for two people, just to remember for your easy understanding. So 220 micrograms. From this pregnant woman's value, we'll try to get the value for normal men, women and a few age categories. Okay. Now from this 220, if I reduce minus 80, if I minus 80, I get 140. This 140 is the iodine requirement for men and women, all physical activity categories, and also for the age groups 13 till 18. You got it? Now, from this 220, since we have already minus 80, just take that 8. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to replace 1, 2 by 8. So, it becomes 280. 280. This 280 is the iodine requirement of a lactating woman. Now, I told you we are going to remember two values in case of iodine. The first value which we have already remembered using the cretinism point is 220 for pregnant women. Now the another value that you will have to remember in case is 0 to 6 months old value, which is 100. It's a very easy value to remember, so there shouldn't be much problem. So a baby which is in the age group 0 to 6 months, the iodine requirement is 100 micrograms. Now to get the value of 6 to 12 months old, we just have to add plus 30. Okay, 100 plus 30. It gives us 130. Now, using this 30, we'll try to get the value for the next age category, that is for children category. In children category, if you see 1 to 3-year-old child, this 30 that we have already added, no, 100 plus 30 we added to got 130. Just take that 30 alone and multiply it by 3, which is already there in the age group, that is 1 to 3 years. Just take that 3 and multiply it by 30. So 30 into 3, it gives us 90. Now we have done it, we have multiplied it by 3. So we'll repeat the value 3 times, 90, 90, 90, which means iodine requirement for all the 3 age groups in children, that is 1 to 3-year-old, 4 to 6-year-old, 7 to 9-year-old. All this is 90, it remains 90. Now to get the value of 10 to 12-year-old, you don't have to do anything. Just put the value that you have already remembered, which is 100. Now after this, we have already seen the value. That is for 13 to 18-year-old, the iodine requirement stays the same. That is 140 micrograms. Now, this trick may sound a little bit difficult when you see it for the first time, but when you hear the video at least 2 to 3 times and try to run this trick in your mind, you're going to remember all the values very easily just by remembering just 2 values. Stay tuned with us on YouTube to learn the trick to remember all the nutrients which are mentioned in RDA 2020. Thank you.